I did have a script half done talking about the Evokers, but honestly it was already too long, and with the rebalances coming out, I've decided it'll be better if I just trash the script and wait. So today we'll be doing something topical. Superlative weapons. Anniversary is giving us one of these for free, so as sweaty Granblue players, we should do our best to pick responsibly. But before we get into superlative weapons, we have to face the reality of the situation. Illustrious weapons. I won't get into the specifics of each ranking in the tier list, but just know that if you do plan on getting into an element and getting one of these weapons, that should influence your decisions right now. Even for Magna players, Grunting and Iresh are still pretty nice to have. I'll be going in with the assumption the better 6 weapons are an option on the horizon. That way, even if a primal falls into your lap, you won't instantly throw away your superlative. Now, with the preamble out of the way, we're going to immediately remove some genuinely terrible options. There's basically no dimension where you pick Damascus Knife and Frikigel. Their weapon skills don't stack with very common weapons currently in grids. Unless you think it's funny to grab weapons with dead skills and outdated mechanics, I would advise against it. Damascus Knife does have a drop rate increase, but it's up to you to determine whether you think that would be useful or not. It probably isn't. Next, we have 3 weapons that I'm going to call fun weapons. They aren't optimal in the slightest, but I can see why someone might want to pick them up considering this ticket isn't the most important thing in the world. For degenerate gamblers, we have Nilna with its 20% miss chance and Amino Habakiri with its 20% chance on CA to grant 9 attacks on the next turn. For people who like clicking button, we have Hercules, which does have a genuinely good unique skill which is slapped on a bow, the worst weapon type in the game. Now we get into the 5 weapons which I would consider a legitimate choice, although I would hesitate to call most of these good. We'll start with the very niche weapons and then work from there, first being Caduceus. The weapon has easy to slot in weapon skills for your grid and a solid unique skill alongside a very powerful CA effect, but the issue is that it's a staff. Both the main staff classes we use for damage prefer to use their normal attacks to proc their skilled damage, so they don't really want to be charge attacking, which leaves this weapon to be most useful on Iatromantis. Iatro does have incredibly long cooldowns, which makes this weapon a great fit on it, but if you're using Iatro with a staff main hand, I'm going to be honest, you're already losing. Still a good option for a GW you would otherwise struggle, but it's going to be a very slow full auto. Similarly, Ulukami is tied to one class, that being Lumberjack. For Lumberjack, it's a powerful weapon, reducing the cooldown of every relevant skill by 1 turn. The CA bonus effect is okay, and it certainly has weapon skills that help. The echo on casting the first skill can be nice, but its utility comes down to how often the character clicks their buttons. Honestly, this weapon is just okay and gets carried by how strong Lumberjack is thanks to the skill cut being perfect for the class alongside how bad the competition for a Harp Mayhand is. It's a reasonable choice, but it's so limited that I can see it getting power crept in its only role soon. Sky Piercer is a burst option that used to be the king alongside Lucador, but time hasn't been kind to it. To be brutally honest, this weapon is outclassed in 5 of 6 elements. In water, light and dark, the Illustrious is the weapon of choice, and in fire and wind, Falsehood alongside the burst class of choice is the best option. This leaves Earth with the curse of having a Harp Opus, which doesn't leave it with the best choices for bursting classes. This makes Sky Piercer an option, allowing the MC to run Lucador and to contribute more with the auto burst. Although I don't have experience playing Titan, I will leave you with words of advice from a Primal Earth player. Don't do it! That leaves us with the final 2 options, that being Gibulg and Excalibur. Gibulg has some good weapon skills and can provide a large amount of normal cap up, which frees grids from needing to bring multiple weapons to cap it out. The best example of this would be in Light, where currently maxing out crit for your Eves and running your other gacha weapons can be difficult. Gibulg can help you cut some of them out without losing all of that cap up, which is particularly useful for comps that don't focus on autos or multi-hits who can afford to lose the supplemental from pack-style weapons. The downside is that you have to main-hand a spear, which does have a lot of different choices when it comes to classes, but none of these are particularly good. The closest thing that spear classes have to a DPS class is Apsaras, which is mediocre without reaching the weapon type requirement in your grid. This weapon does have potential, but it's not reaching it in the current landscape. Could be a good pickup for light if we ever get a CA Spear class, but let's be honest, the chances of that happening are almost zero. Bow. The last weapon that leaves us with is Excalibur, which is likely the most common choice. This weapon has useful weapon skills and has a variety of classes it can be used on, some of which are very powerful. The weapon is best used on classes that are focused on autos such as Berserker, Viking or Chrysor, as they can maintain the uptime on the powerful MC-only echo the weapon provides. Additionally, the weapon's unique skill allows the MC's charge attack to hit hard even without investing into charge attack weapons in the grid. This weapon is likely the easy choice for every element outside of Earth, and even for Earth. This weapon is used as an AUX weapon for Chrysor just for the echo. To be honest though, at the end of the day, just pick whatever weapon calls to you. Even Excalibur, which is the most widely used of these weapons, isn't going to be some sort of magical savior that brings you to victory against every boss in this game. It's just a very expensive option in a game that has greatly outpaced them. Looking at the Fini weapon, it's probably only going to get worse for them. So if you really want to get that Damascus knife, go for it.